Hey everyone, welcome to CloudLabs Instructor's Guide for DP203 Data Engineering on Microsoft Azure. This guide is designed for instructors teaching DP203 course while leveraging CloudLabs Hands-on Lab environments. Coming to DP203 Data Engineering on Microsoft Azure, this particular course is having 17 modules which are typically designed to deliver in 4 days. The 17 modules are divided into 5 different lab environments. So learners will be using 5 different lab environments to complete those 17 modules. Each module may be used for one or more lab environment. So during the training course, you will be having learners jump through various lab environments as and when they need to access the respective modules. So you may have multiple lab environments active at a given point of time. All the lab environments are pre-configured, running on Azure commercial subscriptions, mostly deploying the costly resources. So all these environments do not use Azure Pass or Azure Trial, and they are running on commercial subscription. So each and every resource is billed. The lab environments are provided for 4 days. However, the uptime of resources is actually less. The uptime of resources is 33 hours spread across 4 days. This particular duration is designed while keeping in mind the average time taken by students to complete DP203 lab environments. Since this is a relatively new course during May and June 2021, extensions for uptime and duration is allowed as long as they are in reasonable limits. Since this is a new course, currently we are working on updates and feedbacks from different learning partners as well as Microsoft, and the environments are subject to be updated. The lab structure, so you can see that there are 5 environments and each environment is having various modules. So example, the first module, the first environment in this particular slide is having module 1, module 6, and module 15, whereas the environment 2 is having module 2. You can see that each environment is also having an uptime. The uptime is the duration for which you can run the virtual machines and or SQL pool and or Spark pool as needed for the workshop. So it is very important that learners do stop their VMs and pause their SQL pools while they are not using a particular environment. So a typical flow will include starting with module 1 in environment 1. And once you're done with module 1, you would stop VMs and any other pool or resources running in environment 1 and go to module 2 while your environment 1 will be kept alive for the 4 days of duration. So learners will keep on switching back and forth between environments as needed to complete all the modules. The only recommendation is that they must stop the VMs and pause the pool as they are done with a particular module. The learner's guide is available on the given link, cloudlabs.ai/learner-guide-dp-203. Please do share this learner's guide with students one day prior to the lab day so that they can get familiar with this prior to a day. The instructor documentation is available on the given link. Please do familiarize yourself with the instructor documentation as well. This particular video will also cover most of the documentation. Now it's time for the demo. So at this time, we assume that you have gone through the learner documentation and you are familiar with the learner experience. If you have not gone through the learner documentation, please do visit that on this link. You will also find a similar video walkthrough of learners experience as well. From an instructor experience, you are provided an admin access to the portal where you can manage your class and you will be able to manage end-to-end aspects of your lab environment. Let's take a moment and let's get access to that particular portal. So I'm now in admin portal for CloudLabs. The URL is admin.cloudlabs.ai. You can log in with your Azure AD account or LinkedIn account. Please make sure that you have shared the respective account with the CloudLabs support team to get the access enabled for you. Please make sure on the side you have Manage Labs selected as the tenant. So as soon as I log in, I'm able to see my lab environments. So we start with lab clusters. Lab cluster is the collection of all the 5 environments for your DP203 course. So over here, you can see the bit.ly link. This is the same bit.ly link you would have received in your email as well. So typically, you would get an email which will include this link along with the other information to share with students. Let's take a moment to look at that email. Once your lab is scheduled, you receive an email like this, which will include a sign up information, support link information, email ID. So, all this information, you should save this in a safe place so that you can refer it during the workshop. You need to share this bit.ly link as well as the activation code with the students when you want them to start doing the labs. Please use the same link to access your own instructor instance as well. I'm now back to the admin portal. So under lab cluster, I'm able to see the lab assigned to me. Over here, you will be able to go to the users page. And in users page, you will be able to see the status of each student's lab environment. So over here, I registered as twice. So in my first user registration, I can see the status is approved for every user. That means I've only registered. I have not launched the lab environment. Whereas in case of second sign up, I have launched the lab environment for 2 environments, and that includes environment 4 and environment 2, sorry, environment 1 and environment 2, and I can see the status as succeed. I also see an option to launch this particular environment right here. So this basically opens up the student page for instructor, and if you need to take over any student's environment, you can do that from this link. Going back to the admin portal over here, you will be able to manage the on-demand labs, which is the specific environment for each lab environment. So over here, same thing, I can go to manage users for environment O1. And over here, I will be able to see the status of that particular user. You can launch the environment from the instructor view from here using this button. You can send this information in email. You can use this lab status button to see all the details of that particular environment, which includes username, password, what are the resources deployed, and every other information needed. So please do make use of this information during the course as needed. Similarly, you will be able to manage all other environments as well. So I can go to environment 2 and I will be able to see the status accordingly. Now, the next thing is how do you manage students' environment with respect to what they are doing, if you want to help them, if you want to just watch what exactly they are doing. So this particular button is for shadowing the student instance without disturbing them. So I can click on this link. It will launch the RDP inside the browser, but it will not interrupt the student session. It will only launch an additional session on behalf of instructor, and it will shadow the student session as is. So and over here, you will be able to access the student's environment. You can see that you are controlling a student, and any operation done by student will be visible to you, and you will be able to track that. So this is a good way to monitor what students are doing using the Shadow VM button. You also have an ability to reset the deployment for a user. So if a student wants to start fresh, they're done with everything, they just want to do start over all over again because they made some mistakes in the environment, and rather than troubleshooting they want to start fresh, you can reset the deployment for the user using this button. Please note that it will delete the environment and it will create a new environment for them, which will take its own time depending on the duration. The other option that is very useful for instructor is to manage the labs from control panel. So from this, you will be able to start, stop VMs for every single student with just one click. So you can start VMs for all the students by just doing one click. This will start all the VMs. Same goes for stopping. So typically at the end of the day, you might come here and stop VMs for everyone. You can also manage the VM usage. Like for example, in this case, my uptime limit is 2 hours, and as of now, I have used 1 hour already, and the current status is running. Obviously, I can start stop all, or I can start stop the individual VMs as well. Same goes for SQL Data Warehouse. So this includes the SQL pool. You can resume or pause with just one click or monitor the utilization as well. So in this case, the current status is online and this is the current uptime. Same goes for Databricks and ACI containers. ACI containers are the RDP gateway used for providing the remote desktop inside your browser. Typically, they are managed automatically with VMs, so you do not have to worry about it. In the end, you will be able to see the task scheduler. So here you can schedule the tasks. For example, stop all the VMs in that time zone on that day at that time. So you can schedule all these tasks in advance so that you don't have to remember about doing them on the particular lab day. So from a managed perspective, managing virtual machines and SQL Data Warehouse is very crucial to manage that students do not overrun the usage and they are under the uptime limits. From an administration standpoint, this is typically all you will do. You will manage the lab environments for users, you will manage their uptimes and other information as available. Soon we will be enabling reports over here where you will be able to see the progress of each student on your lab environments. I will now walk you through the instructor guide. So cloudlabs.ai/instructor. So please do bookmark these URLs. You will be receiving the same URLs from your Cloud Labs contacts as well. The instructor's guide is designed for the same purpose where you will be able to go through this documentation and quickly get familiar with the instructor's environments. If you want to try out the lab environments without starting your timer, what you can do is you can use these preview links. So these preview links includes the lab instructions, but does not include the lab resources. So you will be able to go through the guide by without starting a timer for yourselves. So this can be used to get familiar with the environments without really launching them. The documentation includes all instructions with respect to login. It includes the deployment time. So as you can see, the deployment times is pretty long for various environments. Cloud Labs teams make sure that the lab environments are ready at the time when you need it. So we request you to let us know when do you want to use a particular environment so that we can make sure that the environments are ready before your lab time and students do not have to wait even for a minute to get access to their environments. So please do share the lab schedule with your contact or at moc-support@spectrasystems.com. The duration and uptime limits. So each environment is having a specific duration and uptime limits. The duration is typically, for example, lab environment one, which may be used for all 4 days as it is covering various modules, is having a duration of 96 hours. So after 96 hours, it will get deleted. Whereas the uptime limit for this particular environment is only 6 hours because you'll be using this for 3 modules only, and 2 hours per module is more than sufficient for these three. So similarly, each environment is having a duration and uptime limit. Since environment 2 only includes one module, the both duration and uptime is 2 hours only. It is very important to make sure that learners staff the resources and pause the data warehouses to make sure that the uptime limit does not get exhausted. We also have provided a detailed instructions about what should be done after each module. So for example, after completing module 7, learners should stop the VM and pause the pool. So as long as they are following these instructions, they should be good with respect to time limits and duration. These instructions are also available in the learner guide provided separately. From a managing users perspective, you will be able to manage the user states as we just looked at it. You will be able to manage the VM usage, SQL usage, start, stop, all of them, and you can schedule these things as well using Task Scheduler. If you need additional uptime, we do provide additional uptime during May and June 2021. Since this is a pretty new course, please contact us via support and we will be able to extend the uptime. Duration cannot be extended once the environments are deleted, so we can only provide you new environments if it is deleted once. Please do make a note of the support information. So if you need any support around sales purchase, psm-cloudlabs at spectrasystems.com is the way to go, whereas you can use moc-support for live chat and email-based support. Similarly, the learner guide is also available on the given link. Please do share these links with learners in advance so that they are familiar with the environment prior to using the actual labs. The learner guide also includes the required information, required actions, and even the lab preview link that can be used by learners to get familiar with the environments in advance. So we looked at various instructor capabilities in the demo where instructors can look at each environment in detail, control the cloud resources, validates the progress as well. And we looked at the various instant chat support options available from Spektra. From a virtual delivery experience, you have an ability to shadow the cloud. So you get access to users' credentials, as well as there is an instructor credentials uh, assigned to you, which you can use to access to each student's environment. You have an option to shadow cloud. You have an option to shadow virtual machines as well, as we saw in the demo where you can launch shadow of a user session, which will help you with watching what students are doing and if needed, helping them with respect to by taking their control as well. Cost controls. So the included controls in the platform will help you with managing the environment uptime, which will make sure that the cloud cost does not go beyond the limits. Some of the common questions, all MCTs can request 5 hours free trial by emailing psm-cloudlabs at spectrasystems.com. If as an instructor you need a dedicated lab environment, it has to be purchased separately because the environments are running on commercial subscriptions and it is not financially viable to provide free environments. So please do purchase separate seat or ask your alerting partner to purchase separate seat if you need access environment for 4 days or more. If you have a specific schedule for your training, like many MCTs do not want to start with module 1 directly, they prefer to start with module 2 first. So if you have any specific schedule, let us know that particular schedule and we will make sure the environments are ready accordingly. Please do share your training schedules in advance with Spectra Systems. You can share it up to 24 hours in advance, and we make sure that the environments are ready at that particular time, and students do not have to wait even for a minute to get access to the environments. Please monitor the VM and SQL uptime and educate the learners to make sure that we do not exhaust the duration and uptime limits. Purchase options, the DP203 and all other MOC courses from CloudLabs can be purchased through Coursera Marketplace, directly from with us, and even using Azure's subscriptions. In the end, few things to note. The environments will shut down automatically when the uptime is exhausted and are deleted automatically when the duration is exhausted. Please contact us if you need additional time. All the environments are running on production subscription, so there is a direct cloud cost associated with it. In order to help us with providing better experience for you and your students, please do share your training schedule so that we can make sure the environments are ready accordingly. Please do share the learner's guide in advance with students, and please make sure they go through the guide before starting the actual lab exercises. And as we talked about it, the instructor instance has to be purchased separately. That's all from a CloudLabs side. If you need to meet for additional onboarding training or if you have any questions, you can contact us on the given email addresses. If you want to book a meeting with us, our team to go over a detailed onboarding session, please feel free to book a meeting on the given link as well. That is https://bit.ly/meet-cloudlabs. You will have an option to book a meeting over there. With that, thanks a lot for listening in and watching this video. We hope you have a wonderful experience with DP203 Cloud Labs. And if there are any questions at any point of time, please do make use of our chat support, email support as much as possible. And have a wonderful class ahead. Thank you very much.